Okay, we're in day 2 of our percent section, 3.7, solving percent problems. Day 2. Today we're going to find percent change. It is a bit more challenging than just finding a percent, or finding the percentage, the part, or finding the whole, which is the base, okay? So finding a percent change. So to do this, I need a number, any number at all?
2.
Emily?
7.
7, okay? 7 is where we're starting. And I need another number, any number at all, Ryan? 15, okay. So 7 is going to become 15. What is the percent it changed? Oops, that looks really bad. But it says, what is the percent it changed? That's the question today, okay? The other question today will be, I might say, here's a number, it changes by this percent. Now tell me the new one too, okay? So you can see the related question. So 7 became 15. What is the percent it changed? Go ahead, work on it. You can talk to your neighbor. You have 2 minutes to tell me what is the percent change. What do you think the percent change is? Who has it? I heard some numbers. Ryan?
2.5.
He thinks this has changed by 2.5%. Who agrees? 2.5%?
Yeah.
Okay, well then Ryan, tell me this. The number 7. If I added 7 to that number, I would get what number? 14. So if I had changed this number 7 to 14, would it have changed by only 2.5% or less? When we double a number, what is the percent change? It's what? 100% change. And this number didn't just stop at 14. This number became 15. So I expect the change to be more than 100%. Do you see?
100%.
Okay, so you're going to learn how to do this, but you have heard this before. So Nick, is it 114? Who agrees with him? 114? Who says 120? You agree with 114?
Yeah.
Okay, we have another person agreeing with 114.
Oh, I
And so
agree.
Nick, tell us what you did.
Because
Let's listen.
since 7 times 2 is 14, so that's 100% change. And then one out of 7 is 14%, so it's at 100%.
Is there any other way you could figure this out? I mean, who can give it to me in a proportion or something? Emily?
Well, I did p% equals 15 minus 7 over 7.
P% equals, okay, so she did this. 15 minus 7 over the original. Okay, so she found, listen to this. This is the way to do it, by the way. You find the amount it changed. Look at, she did 15 minus 7. Isn't that the amount it changed? What is 15 minus 7? 8. So we have 8 over 7. 7 is the original amount. So if we want to know what percent of number has changed, we're comparing it to what it originally was, right? So that's the original amount. Equals some percent over 100. She called it p%. This is the same thing, p%. Okay? So if we solve this little proportion, let me move it if I can. Okay, we can use our cross products, I guess, to solve this, right? Or we could simply multiply both sides by what number? Well, we can multiply by 100, right? But anyway, let's do cross products. 800 equals 7n, and now we bring the 7 back down. You see why I multiply by 100? And 7 goes into 8 how many times?
1.
Do I have room here? 1. And
1.
7 goes into 10 how many times?
1.
And then there's 30 left. So 7 goes into 30 4 times, and then there's 2 7s left. Okay, so you can go work that out with division,
Whoa.
right? But there it is. There's your percent exactly. Just about what Nick said, 114%. Good job. I think Nick did it by using his logic that he understands percents a little bit. That 1/7 was a part of a whole, right? So you're thinking of it in terms of percent. Okay, so that was our percent change. I'm glad we talked about it a little bit. So you think about what 100% change means, right? Doubling a number is adding its 7 to its own self. It now is an increase of 100% when we have 14 in that case. So percent change is the percent of increase or decrease, and we're always comparing it to what number?
0.
No, no. We're comparing the change to the original amount. In this case, the original number was 7. And it changed by 8. It had this increase of 8. That's a positive 8. Okay? We can have decreases too. So we have percent increases and decreases. Decreases, we will see what type of sign?
A negative.
Very good, a negative sign. So now we're going to write down kind of the map, the plan for doing this. So I like the fact that we explored it before we had revisited this plan, which we did talk about last year in pre-algebra. But you know what? This is just one of those topics that's really hard. Percentages. Ask your parents. If they don't work with numbers a lot, they will possibly struggle with this type of question too. So give them one of your homework questions and see what they come up with, you know. And if they have some struggles and you can teach them, then you're going to be stronger. Because if you are teaching a person something, you have to really know what you're doing, right? It'll help you figure out what you're doing, okay? So here is the little thing that Emily just shared, right? The amount of change over the original equals the percent change over 100. Now, you could write that with a percent sign too. In that case, you wouldn't need to have over 100. The way that we find the amount change is we take the new amount and subtract the old amount, the original. And we can put that over the old amount or the original amount. That's how we find the change. So today's percent problems involve two things. They involve subtraction and then multiplication, or multiplication and then subtraction. There's no way around two steps here today. Okay? And that's because we're looking for change. And change always involves subtraction. If I ask you how much you've grown in the last 2 years, you would figure out how tall you are, subtract away how tall you were, and you would now know how much change you had in those 2 years. Okay?
How will we figure it out?
Okay, let's try this. Let's find the percent of increase or decrease in these two samples. So again, we need to find how much it changes over the original. And that will give us our percent, which can still be written as n over 100, if you find that an easy way to remember what percent is. It's a number over 100, right? Okay, who wants to tell us how to find this change on the left side? Lauren.
So can we just write down 156, the new number, and subtract it?
Good. And then what's the denominator here? The original 90. Okay, and so now we simply simplify where we can. We can simplify that numerator. What is 126 minus 90? Say it again. Did you say 26? It's 36, right? 36 over 90. Can somebody find a factor that could go into both 36 and 90? What is that, Lauren? Say something bigger. Say something bigger. There's a fun one. 9. How about 9? I like that one. Because when we put a 9 into 36, what do we get?
4.
And when we put a 9 into here, we get 10. And look at this beautiful thing. 10 times what is 100? And so 4 times 10 is? 4 times 10 is our answer. And our answer is? 40%. There it is. Okay. You could use cross products down here to find this. But when we reduced it, did you see how easy it was to find that factor we needed, right? B. Okay, so once again, we're setting it up. Everybody attempt B. See if you can set that up. There's a little bit of a different thing here, isn't there?
Yes.
So, how do we set that up? Mark, can you set it up?
Yep. 72 minus 160 over 160.
Equals your percent. Okay, so what is different is what?
There's four.
This original was 160 and now it has become 72. So do we see that this is this an increase or a decrease? Decrease. So we're going to end up with what type of number there in our numerator? A negative. And what is it? Negative what?
No.
Do you remember how to do this? How do you subtract? Juliana? Okay. So we really will subtract the smaller absolute value from the larger and give it the sum of the larger, right? And so 160 minus 72 is 88. Good job. Now, do you want to do some simplifying here? Ryan? Divide by 8 and you would get negative 11 over what? 20. Now you could use cross product, but isn't this nice and easy here?
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
So what factor do we now multiply by? And when we multiply the top by 5, we get percent. Okay? Because it was over 100. 55 over 100. We now can take away that over 100 and just throw in the percent sign. Okay? Very good. So this is the fun part. This is a little more complicated, but I'm hoping to help it appear simple to you today. Okay? Finding a new amount when you're given some percent increase or some percent decrease. We're going to go do one and then come back and show the little plan that we used. It's often better to discover these things with a real problem. So leave a little space here for this. We'll put the plan down. Let's go do this one. We're going to increase 14 by 45%. There are really two ways that this could be done, and I'm simply going to use what most students have told me they find is the simpler way right now. When I introduced both to the class earlier this morning, they felt more confused that they heard two methods. So if you choose a different method, that's fine with me, as long as it will work every time you're doing these problems. I'm happy to review other ones too. But this is what we're going to say. Here's the proportion that we're used to using, right? We have a number 14. Is that the new number or the original? We're going to increase 14 by 45%. So that's the original, so it goes here. So as we read this proportion, everybody give as much effort as you can right now. As we read this proportion, 14, watch with me, 14 is 100% of the original. Do you agree?
Yes.
Right? 14 is 100%.
Oh.
Just as the unknown part will not be 100% alone. We're doing what to the 100%?
Adding 45.
That's right, we're increasing it by 45%. That's all you need to do. Isn't that nice? This is a two-step process. You've got to add the increased percent, and then you go solve your proportion. Now, if there was a decrease, a percent decrease, we wouldn't be adding it, we would be subtracting it, okay? So, rather than writing it as 100 plus 45, we will write it as 145. And we simply solve for P, and you guys are good at that. Do you want to simplify the 145 over 100? What do you want to divide them by? By 5? Okay. So when we divide 100 by 5, we get 20. And when we divide this by 5, we get 29. So we really have P over 14 equals 29 over 20. Now, this is not as easy as some of the others. I mean, 20 times what equals 14? Not that easy. So what will we use? Cross product. Let's just cross product this. 20 P's equals 14 times 29. Who has 14 times 29 for us? Michaela? 406 equals 20P. Did you do that by hand? Good for you. And so now to finish it, we simply divide by 20. So go do that by hand. Some of you on your quiz revealed that your division is really weak. You actually wrote division little problems down, and then you really messed them up, which tells me you need to go do division problems. If you notice that when you get your quiz back today, go do some division problems. Using a calculator is not helping you grow stronger with division, okay? So here we are dividing. 20 goes into that 40 how many times? 2. Can 20 then go into the 6? No, so it's just 20. And 6 over 20 could be reduced to how many tenths? 6 over 20 is, did anybody get this answer? Or 20.3, right? Okay, good. Okay, so that wasn't too hard, was it?
Hold about it.
It wasn't a percent we were looking for. We were looking for the new number. So we don't write it as a percent. Okay, so let's go write the little model down that we just used for this. We said that the new amount over the original, the new amount is 100% of the old plus the percent increase. The original is straight across from the 100% original amount. Okay? Who can write the percent decrease proportion for us? Somebody else? Somebody else? Somebody who has not spoken yet. Casey.
New amount over original equals 100 minus percent increase in 100.
Good job. There you go. This word could be decrease, right? It's a negative increase is what this says, which is equivalent to a decrease. I mean, if you're going to write decrease, you could actually say plus a percent decrease, which would be a negative number. Anyway, whatever you understand, we're subtracting with a decrease. Okay, so let's try that again with this one, and just come back when you have your answer. Okay, very nice. So we have the unknown, the new number over the original will equal the new percent over the original 100%, right? Or we could say the new number is 80%, the old number was 100%. And then when we solve this, we have 35.2, okay? So write this down for your notes. Find the sale price of this Australian tour that has been discounted by 30%. Okay, so the new percent is 70 after having subtracted 30 from 100, right? So the new vacation is 70% of the old vacation, which was 100%, okay? You don't need to write this one down, so you should be able to get a lot of it done right here. Right now. And I will give you back your quiz.